Hi all, I'm Adil Beg, faculty of Kingmakers IAS Academy. So today in the Toppers Talk podcast session, we have Ms. Shruti Modi, who secured 569th rank in Civil Services Examination 2025, and she has taken PSIR as her optional, and she has secured a 569th rank, and she is from Jharkhand. And today we'll be discussing her journey and how she traversed all these years ever since 2020 and how she cleared in her fifth attempt, if I'm right. So we'll be discussing her journey and her struggles and backdrop of her preparation. So hello, Shruti. Welcome to Kingmakers IAS Academy's podcast.
Thank
How
you,
are you?
sir. I'm good, sir.
Okay. So can you briefly discuss about your 5 year journey? So after finishing college, what was this all preparation about, and what was the brief us about these 5 attempts?
Yeah, sir. So I had this UPSC plan in my mind since schooling years. I think 10th standard or 11th standard. And I was a student of Sriram College of Commerce. So we have many seniors doing UPSC. So I started preparing after college itself, and I started during COVID years. So it was a challenge to manage the without coaching. And so later on, after multiple attempts, I was able to clear SBI, and I started working as SBI associate during 2024. But I still continued my preparation while working, and this year I got the rank.
Okay. So this was your first mains and first interview, or
Sir, I had written mains in 2022 also, but I think there
okay,
was lack of strategy in GS also. So I
okay,
lacked there that time.
okay. So fine. So this was your second prelims which you have cleared, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was
Okay,
not able to clear CSAT in 2023. I cleared GS part in 2023,
okay,
but CSAT was lacking there.
okay. So generally, in which year you got into SBA, and can you tell us about this Plan B? Why did you decide to go to SBA at which attempt, and what was the main reason as a Plan B?
So it was not plan B. I think after multiple attempts, there should be certain career and financial stability, which I felt was necessary completely at this point of age. So I decided to go for other exams also, and it was not much of difficulty. So there were basics, quants and reasoning. So I thought of a backup plan in 2024 itself. So I gave prelims and mains of SBI, and I got into it. And due to a good work-life balance there, I was able to manage since I was able to sit on my table chair by 5:30 p.m. in the evening.
Okay. So, before going into your detailed preparation strategy, how did you manage this work preparation balance in the last 2 years? Because after completing this bank job, how did you segregate your time? Because it will be useful for working aspirants.
Sir, at first I thought it would be very difficult, but I think dedication needs to be there. That is the foremost point.
Yeah.
So I started preparing for my optional in the morning sessions. I used to wake up at 5 or 6 sometimes, and I used to read and revise everything related to my PSI notes. Since already notes were prepared in the previous few attempts, I used to completely revise them repeatedly, and I used to complete my newspaper in the morning session itself. After banking hours, I used to write answers related to my GS and revise them continuously. So I went topic by topic and subject wise, and it helped me ultimately clear this.
Okay. So, can you elaborate on your weekly and schedule? Like, what was your weekly schedule for all the 5 weekdays and weekends? What was your time which you allotted for this preparation? And so that I'm asking to go a bit elaborate so that working aspirants can also take some inspiration.
Sir, first I would say regarding optional, there is only revision and revision. In my subject, there is more theoretical part, and the practical part is in the international relations only. So I used to do revise theory multiple times, and sometimes there is writing of PYQ, but I segregated my time as optional in the morning and other GS part in the evening itself. So I took just for example, I took one topic, ancient history, or let's say art and literature part. So I used to write the literature part and write the PYQs or some test series answers and go one by one. So I used to complete one portion, one subject in 1 week. I used to allot time to different topics as per the need. And at the end, in the weekend, very weekend, sometimes there is revision. But if I feel that it's no need, I used to continue with other subjects also. And during the prelims time, the ultimate focus was on prelims since my prelims part was very difficult and I had a problem with the objective. So I started preparation for prelims since February itself. So it was completely revision, revision, and revision. And then in the weekend, it was giving tests, multiple tests. So this worked.
Okay. So, when did you take leave before the prelims or mains exam, or did you continue working?
So this was the tough part because generally when you are working somewhere, it is an leave is a big issue. But we can say fortunately, I have this happened that I got a fracture on the very day of prelims result. So due to that, I got 1 month or 1.5 months for preparation in the mains part. So I think that managed somehow.
Oh, you also got the medical condition, which
Yes,
came
yes,
to your favor, fortunately or unfortunately.
yes.
Now it's fortunate. Okay. So now let us slowly move towards the preparation aspects. So what used to be your routine before preliminary? Because now we have only 50 days, 40 or 50 days odd left to the preliminary examination. So what is your prelims routine before the exam?
Sir, to the aspirants, I would recommend that since starting of February or March, just keep focus on your notes and notes. Keep revision on hold. Keep revising in every subject and don't run for the current affairs too much. Keep specific subjects such as science and technology and environment for the current part because most of them are from current only. But you should do that only when your basic notes are all completed and keep them revising again and again and take any test series if you want. It's is it whether it's available in the market or any coaching institute and keep doing them one by one. I had this strategy. I used to complete one subject and then I used to give the exam give the test of that particular thing. Either it's 50 questions in one go or and I used to do full length test after 3 to 4 days gap. I used to check my strategy where I'm lacking and where I'm doing better. And the practice was to eliminate the silly mistakes which we most of us do during that preparation. So this was my strategy during prelims.
Okay. So you said that you focus a lot on static rather than current affairs, which is
Yes, sir.
actually true because a lot of aspirants at this time they used to take this PT materials, very bulky things, and they stop revising this static part. So which is a very important insight. So tell about your book list. So what was your book list in your first attempt to fifth attempt? Did you change anything, or what is the basic notes which you followed?
So most of us start preparing like notes, current affairs part, and magazines. That was my biggest mistake in the starting few attempts. I cleared 2022 also only by revising my basic notes, and 2021 attempt was because it was not got clear because I focused more on the current affairs part. So I would recommend that there are specific things which you should do, such as geography. Class 11th and class 12th NCRT is a must read. You should never leave those books and go one by one, line by line, because questions from NCRT needs to be analyzed very well, and this will definitely help in the exams. And regarding economics, I since I am a commerce student, I had economics subject in my background also. So I stick to class 12th macroeconomics part, Indian economy part, and Spectrum was my key. I used to stick to those only basic books. Spectrum was the key. And regarding art and culture, there is a lot to revise. So I started reading the Nitin Singhania book and I think the first chapter, art and architecture chapter, it is itself very elaborate, and I think it is sufficient if a person does that only first chapter, and you can go other chapters very selectively. Not everything, but very selectively it needs to be done.
Okay. So I would like to ask about the PYQ analysis part. How did you approach the PYQ analysis, and What is your approach towards it, whether it is subject wise or year wise, and how you used to solve it and what insights you took?
Sir, first I used to do since used to start from February itself. My pattern was to complete one particular subject and look at the PYQs one by one. There can be chances that you can go simultaneously while reading your notes, but I used to read notes first and then attempt the questions, subject wise. But in the very last, after completing certain, after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I used to pick 1 year paper and do the full length test of it just to check my ability of timing things, everything. So I think the PYQ part is it needs to be revised multiple times itself.
Okay. So, did you find any insights from PYQ, or how did you approach it? Whether it is area wise, or some people will say they'll work on the options. So, what was your exact takeaway from PYQs, and how it helped was helpful in preliminary examinations? Because of late we are seeing a lot of trick videos of how to answer the unknown questions based on the patterns of PYQ. So, in that aspect, I'm asking.
So I would say that 2023 itself is a big proof that tricks don't work
Yeah.
anymore. Every time UPSC can do completely opposite of a person is never expecting to do. But I would say that 2023 questions were based on the 2022 part itself, where 2, 3 questions were similar on the part. So we used to leave that in the 2022 year, and the pattern changed completely 2023. So I would say that considering this unpredictability part, a person needs to do the interlinking thing. While revising notes, a person should build question itself in the mind, that what questions can be there, what options can be there. And this should be the game of mind, and it comes only by revision and revision and revision and practicing papers. So this was my strategy that if I'm reading history or if I'm reading polity, I would interconnect in my mind that why this provision was made by the Constitution fathers of Constitution. So this was my working, that what thinking were they pursuing while writing the Constitution. So I used to relate, and this is very easy way of revising things. So this was my strategy, that I would build questions in my mind itself, and this ultimately is helpful in the exam. So you would interconnect multiple subjects itself.
Okay. Fine. So actually, the analysis of PYQ is very crucial before preliminary examination, and you have mentioned it rightly. So now we'll briefly go into the CSAT part. You have said that you couldn't clear CSAT. So what steps you took so that you cleared it in the next attempt? Like, where were you lacking, and how did you work on it and clear it? Because a lot of aspirants I see, they get GS 100 plus, but in CSAT they get 55, 60. So that is very heartening to see. So how did you clear CSAT in the next attempt, where when you couldn't clear in the previous attempt?
So, sir, I would say since I have also cleared this banking exam, the CGL and banking pattern is on repeated PYQs pattern. They used to do tricks thing, and it's okay to do this way. So that is a different pattern to do. But in terms of CSAT, they are checking our analytical ability. So first of all, it's very important to understand the concept rather than only relying to PYQ patterns. PYQ is helpful only when you understand the patterns completely. Most of the time, this is nowadays happening, that the paper, I personally find that CSAT paper is becoming lengthy year by year. So my strategy is that I go topic wise. I first of all I pick number system. There are 2, 3 topics which I and most of my friends also find hard to do, such as number system, permutations, and combinations. So I think one should focus on more on those areas which you actually find hard to analyze. So my strategy this year was pick one topic and do rigorous practice and try to understand the concepts first. Whether you do it from any YouTube channel or any coaching series, if you want. So my strategy was this, that I used to pick up those questions, and once you understand the questions, try the PYQs. You'll get to know that it does not actually look hard as that is appearing in the paper. So I think this was my strategy. This helped.
Okay. So, what was your 2 hour strategy in the exam hall? How did you handle the 2 hours? What was the time you gave to all the three parts of quants, reasoning, and comprehension?
Sir, I generally start with the quants part only. I just look at the questions, and if I think that I can do it, I go for it. But if I think that this will take time, and this comes only with practice, you look at the question and you analyze that, oh, this is not going to happen, this is not going to happen. And first, you pick those parts which are obviously looking very easy. It gets solved easily, such as profit and loss is easy, percentage is easy. You can do it by yourself, then gradually come to number system. And if you think that you are not getting any of the question from the quants part, just go to comprehension. It will help you calm your mind. I think go read one by one. It helps a lot. Comprehension part was strong. Most of the people, mostly times it's in the English. Since I was English medium student, I used to do comprehension part very well. So I used to take a balance in both of them. And since reasoning part is very low these days, so I think we should also focus on the part. The thing is, ki what will happen, what kind of questions will come. It's completely on UPSC. So my part approach was quants and comprehension, and again jump back to quants part to complete the questions left earlier, because it takes time. And just don't panic, because once I start panicking in exam, it gets destroyed completely.
Exactly. Actually, the mindset part is very, very crucial in the exam hall. Most of the aspirants used to miss in that particular area. So, what about your mock test strategy? Because many students will be taking mock tests in and around the end of April and the mid part of May. So, how many mock tests you took, and what was your approach towards the mock tests before prelims?
So since I was a working person also, I built a strategy this year that I would give if it's SFG or 50 questions one day. So as I said that I will complete one subject and do its questions one by one. So I used to attempt those 50 questions one day and then revise again the other day. And there is a gap of normally 1 2 days. But regarding the full length test, I started from 15th March, I guess, and I went till end of prelims preparation. And my strategy was to give mock every 4 to 5 days gap, and this was full length test completely. And most of the times, whenever I used to get a leave or it's Sunday or Saturday, as per the schedule, there was definite chance of giving GS or CSET both in one day, because you have to utilize your leave fully for the especially for the working experience. So this was my strategy. It's not necessary to do those 100 full length tests. It's not compulsory. But whatever you are doing, you have to revise it completely and analyze it thoroughly. Because the purpose of mock tests are not to get the similar questions in the exam, but to get to know the pattern of how to solve a question. That is the mindset which needs to be worked at the examination center.
Yes, exactly. So actually, that is the most important part because this prelims is more about getting the right answers for the questions we don't know, rather than answering the questions which we know. So that guessing ability plays the crucial role, and that's the most important part. So what about the 2 hours exam hall strategy for preliminary GS? How many rounds you used to go? How you used to balance the time from 9:30 to 11:30?
Sir, there are certain questions in the exam which you know that it's completely right. Simple, I would say Article 21, right to privacy part. So, first of all, I used to solve those questions. There was starting from one question to 100 question. I used to do two rounds. First round was doing those questions which I know completely, and in first round itself, I used to mark those questions and those options which I think it's not working, it's not completely in the answer. So there is marking certain. If you are confused with two options, just mark there and move ahead. Don't give too much time to a particular question itself that I'll have to solve this. So I used to move like that. And the second round again, if you see the options, the two left options again in the second round, you'll ultimately get to know, okay, this is the right answer. Then I used to fill the OMR sheets first after completing two rounds, and I used to look at the questions again.
At
It
what
was
time you used to fill the OMR sheet? What was the
so
time? 11
my
o'clock?
strategy
11:15?
was no, sir. I used to fill before 11 o'clock itself, because leaving everything at the end of the exam, it gets hustle, a lot of hustle. So I used to do fill it before 11 o'clock. And then regarding certain questions, there are, I think my strategy was used to put an average of 88 to 90 questions. I don't cross above that because there are chances of getting negative itself. So I personally feel that there are certain questions which are not meant to be done. So I used to leave them. And apart from that, there are certain questions where intelligent guessing is required. You have to connect the current affairs question by using a basic revision, by using your basic knowledge, whatever happens. There, for example, there was one question in 2021, I think. There was ball guard technology. So I used to remember what is that question, what is that question, and everyone was aware that something called pink ballworm is there in BT cotton thing. But I didn't remember at that time. But if your basics are very thoroughly revised, you'll get to know that answer. So that is the technique. If you have to connect your current affairs with your basic parts, you'll be able to solve that. So I think this was the
Exactly,
strategy.
exactly. That is the most crucial part. So, from through with this interaction, I would like to reiterate to all the aspirants who are seeing the most important part is we should be strong in the static. Current affairs is for the support system. You should not leave current affairs, but we have to see the basics. But current affairs is not all, and you should be able to link current affairs with the static whenever we study because that helps us in guessing the questions which we don't know, even if we are not able to recall. Okay. So now we'll go to the mains part of your preparation. So you didn't clear your prelims in your first attempt and third attempt. So what was your routine when you weren't able to clear the prelims? How you approached mains in those attempts when you didn't clear? Because many aspirants, majority of the viewers, a few who cleared, they'll be writing mains. We'll come to that. But a lot of people might not clear and they will be figuring out what to do after not clearing prelims. So how did you handle those phase and what was your main approach in those times?
Sir, after this attempt, ultimately I realized that it was, I think, beneficial that I didn't clear 2023 because my mains was not prepared at the time. So
Okay.
I would have got much sad if I hadn't cleared that time only. So my strategy was since I was not able to clear earlier attempts, so I started in the August itself, August 2024, and I used to pick one topic, one subject. I revised them thoroughly, and my strategy was for answer writing. During before prelims, my approach was not to stick to time that I have to complete in 7 minutes itself. I used to go very thoroughly and I used to look at one question, and I used to look at one question and revise that question answers from the basic notes itself. And I used to interconnect with examples, data. How can I draw a flowchart? And this was a gradual process. You don't get at one go, but you get this at gradually. And I used to use Chat GPT a lot, and there was usage of examples, Google, wherever you can get the answers of each and every point. So there is partition of the answer with a 10 marker in two parts, and learn examples and examples. You can write quotes, you can write add everything which you are looking for. And just there was mix match of newspaper key points also. I used to collect very 2 3 words from the newspaper itself, and I used to write it at one point because there was sufficient time left. It's not recommendable at this stage, but if you have sufficient time, you can do this at practice and just keep revising it and integrating in your answer writing. So this was my strategy, going gradually and one by one. After prelims, then I used to write it on timing and everything.
Okay. So I think so. We have to conclude. We have come to the conclusion part. Before winding up, how was Kingmakers IAS Academy's personality test development program in Delhi was useful to you? Did you attend it in Delhi and how was it? How was the experience?
Sir, since I was working also, I was not able to visit personally, but there was online one-to-one session. So I would say that I got help in the my working questions also, since there was a lot of questions related to SBI and my role at SBI. So there were questions. The questions helped me a lot. What kind of questions can I expect? Because I was very confused that what kind of questions would I get? It's not written anywhere. I used to look at search in the Google part, but there was not concrete questions. But the academy provided me a lot of questions related to that, and also to my related to my traveling part, the hobby I had written, because it was sounding very vague at that point of time. But the kind of questions I got was fair enough, and it helped me a lot.
Okay, so how much you scored in the personality test? Uh, did it work out well?
Sir, I was able to answer the work related part, but I able to answer the members part, but I was not able to understand the questions related to what chairman was asking to me. There were some
Okay,
questions related to the corporate sector, but I was not able to understand, or I did not know at that point of time. So I got 160 only, but I think I'm satisfied because I was not able to answer at that time. So
uh,
I think it
that,
went well.
that's
No issues.
totally fine because we are UPSC personality test is still it is not tracked yet. It's still a black box. How the marking system goes.
So,
So finally, and we'll conclude this session now. And Kingmakers IAS Academy is operating in Chennai actually. That is the main headquarters. And this year, I am actually I'm an economy faculty. I teach economy in Kingmakers IAS Academy and international relations. And this year, I'm planning to launch a new textbook for Indian economy from Yes Chand Publications. So hopefully, it will be releasing soon. So if you get to chance to look at a copy, have a look at it. Uh,
okay.
After I'm teaching it for the past 8 years, now I'm launching my own economy book. So this is the brief thing. So thank you for joining,
Thank
Shruti.
you,
All
sir.
the best
Thank
for
you
your
for having me.
career.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
all the best for your future career. And I hope you join the service and I hope you clear your next attempt whenever you give. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.